I am Purnika wijesinghe from the Department of Education, Central Province. Today we are here to discuss and to revise an important grammar lesson in French, that is revising articles in French. Now articles will help you for almost every question that you have in the O-level paper, that is to answer grammar questions, to do the translations, to do the comprehension passage, to write the picture description. For all these questions you will need articles. Okay, as you may see now, there are 4 types of articles in French as les articles indéfinis, les articles définis, les articles partitifs et les articles contractés. Okay, remember this is a revision, so we won't be actually going through each category separately. So in this table you may see all the 4 types of articles together, and you may notice how to use them with a masculine singular noun, with a feminine singular noun, and in plural it may be masculine and feminine, but there are no changes of the article. And also you may notice that the translation is also added here. Remember, you need these articles for the translations too when you do your O-level paper. Now, as I told you earlier, this is a revision of our lesson. So, there are important points that we need to look at when we are revising articles. So, when we come to the definite articles, we have some rules to remember. Let us look at it. Especially when you have the singular, masculine and feminine definite articles as le and la in front of a noun beginning with a vowel or h silent. In French we call it as h muet. We need to change it to l apostrophe. Remember, les, the plural article, does not follow this rule. Here, this is the second revision that we are doing on les articles partitifs. That is, you may remember now, partitive articles in French help us to speak of uncertain quantities, especially when we speak of food. So now here you notice in the chart the 4 important rules to remember. I will quickly revise them. The first rule is that if you have the 4 partitive articles as du, de la, de l'apostrophe, de, we need to change them as ne, pas, de, in case if you have your sentences in negation. Rule number 2. If your verb is referring to verbs such as aimer, adorer, préférer, détester, we are not in a position to use partitive articles. So there we should use the definite articles as le, la, l'apostrophe, les. In the same rule, you should also remember that with verbs such as manger, boire, acheter, prendre, avoir, it is possible for you to use partitive articles such as du, de la, de l'apostrophe, as well as de. Moving to rule number 3, in case if you have an expression of quantity such as beaucoup, un peu, un litre, un kilo, un verre, une tasse et une assiette, you need to have only the word de to say that you are not in a position to have partitive articles here. Coming to the last rule related to partitive articles, with fruits and vegetables you can always use numbers such as un, deux, trois, cinq, vingt, trente. It depends on your example. So it's not essential that you come to partitive articles with fruits and vegetables. Here we come to the last type of articles that we are discussing for today, that is les articles contractés, or we call it as contracted articles in French. there are different usages of contracted articles in French. For example, as you notice, the first two examples are showing you how we can use it to speak about the possession. So you may notice here, c'est le livre de le garçon is not a possible sentence. We need to change it as c'est le livre du garçon. And you may also notice the translation given in front. Second sentence 2 shows you that cette voiture est à le professeur is a wrong sentence, that you need to change it as au professeur. Refer to the translation too. Coming to sentence number 3, we may use contracted articles also to speak about places such as il va à la poste. Now in contracted articles, you may remember preposition a followed by the definite article la is a correct sentence. So we need not change it in this sentence. Coming to example number 4, we use contracted articles here with verbs. You can remember some verbs are followed by prepositions in French. So, je parle à le client is a wrong sentence. You need to say je parle au client. Sentence number 5. When we speak of the preposition de followed by the preposition de that we need with some verbs such as jouer de to speak about musical instruments, il joue de la guitare, you may notice again the use of contracted articles. Coming to the last example, when we speak of seasons, we are not in a position to say le printemps, instead we should say au printemps. Look at the example, au printemps, il fait du soleil, and even refer to the translation. Attention. Now, other than using these contracted articles such as au, à la, à l'apostrophe, au, du, de l'apostrophe, de, we encounter some other instances, or we can even call them as exceptional instances, where we must use on. For example, on can be used with seasons, such as été, hiver, and autumn are with on. You cannot use à l'apostrophe in this instance. So you can say on été, on hiver, on autumn. Moving to the last and the most important usage of contracted articles with countries. Now this is a place that we need to remember very carefully. For example, if you have a masculine singular country beginning with a consonant and with preposition a and the, we have to have o or du. As you may notice, I have even given examples with a reference to a name of a country. And likewise, you may notice in the chart how we change these contracted articles. If it is, for example, I will take the third line. So if it is a feminine singular country beginning with a vowel, we need to have, with preposition a we may have on, and with preposition the we will have the apostrophe. Moving to the last information to give. Attention, you may remember with towns and islands, we use only preposition a and the. Contracted articles are not used in this instance. For example, you can say a Kandi, the Kandi, a Madagascar, the Madagascar. I thought this information would be also important for you. That is, if a name of a country ends with an E, we normally say that it is a feminine country. But be careful, there are some exceptions such as le Mexique, le Mozambique, le Zaire, le Zimbabwe, le Cambodia. So, if the name of a country does not end with an E other than these exceptions that are mentioned above, it should be a masculine country. I hope that it was a good revision on articles for you. Right. Très bonne chance pour votre examen OL.